Did you know Squid Game's actually based on true events from the 80s?
So if you're a fan of Squid Game, I'm sure you've seen this video circulating around TikTok. Firstly, I want to say that this claim is 100% false. It's really sad that this creator got over 100,000 likes based on lies. Firstly, let's debunk his claim that Brothers Home was an orphanage. Brothers Home was not an orphanage. It was actually an internment camp under the guise of social welfare. So basically, in the 1970s, 1980s, South Korea began this campaign of cleaning up the streets, especially with international events in the 1980s pending, like the Olympics. South Korea did not want vagrants on the streets. So what they did was they had vagrants taken off the streets, and they were sent to Brothers Home and different facilities just like it, where they were supposed to spend 1 year there being rehabilitated, getting put back on their feet, and then being sent back into society. But in actuality, some people spent as many as 5 years at these camps. Now, at these camps, they were not forced to play games to the unaliving. Instead, they were subjected to SA, physical abuse, and forced labor, where they were forced to make things like toothpicks and ballpoint pens. There were no masked guards in pink jumpsuits. Instead, the camps were ran in a platoon style, where some of the victims were given titles like sergeant and leaders of the quote-unquote platoons. And other members were forced to wear jumpsuits, but they weren't jumpsuits like in Squid Game. They were just blue jumpsuits. Now, in doing my research, the only similarities between Squid Game and Brothers Home I could find was the fact that vagrants were taken off the streets in order to make South Korea look more appealing. Like, if you've been following along in Squid Game, they say how the people who owe money, who are in debt, they are like trash to them. So that's pretty much the only similarity I can see, is that at the time, the South Korean government viewed people on the streets as trash. And these people included children, they included elderly, disabled, homeless. And honestly, some of the children weren't even orphans. A lot of the children were taken from their parents when they were found on the streets unattended. And as this happened, the South Korean government never released this information to a lot of these people's children as they were supposed to. So a lot of kids went missing and the parents didn't know what was going on. Now, these camps were brutal, and it resulted in over 500 people being unalived in a span of 20 years. And sadly, the people who were involved with these camps never faced justice. The president of South Korea at the time, who gained his rule after a coup, he didn't even face anything, even though he was the one leading this whole campaign. Instead, though, he faced 2.5 years in prison for embezzlement, but not for the abuse of innocent people. And the leader of the camp, the man who was put in charge of the camp, he was found with 2 billion won in a safe in his office. And that's pretty much all on the camp that I have found so far. I found interviews from some of the members. No, none of those interviews have people coming out saying, oh, Squid Game was based off this camp and they were triggered by it. All of those claims are 100% false. So hopefully this video clears up things for you guys. Also, I just wanted to add that it's so important for us to do research rather than just going off the words of someone on TikTok. And that includes me too. So feel free to please do your research, fact check me. I got a lot of my information, like I said, from articles like BBC and other Asian news outlets. Thanks for tuning in to the Mojo Chronicle, where I share information that is based off of fact and not fiction. And if you've liked what you heard, then please feel free to give me a follow and share this video so we can get the truth out there. Thank you and take care. Bye.